Hello, this is John Kramer with another episode of the Book Marketing Success Podcast. And today I want to talk a little bit about what really matters in marketing a book. And I'm going to do it by telling a story that I've told before, but apparently people haven't gotten the message. So I want to tell it again. It's a story of Terry McMillan, best-selling novelist, had several movies done with Waiting to Exhale and How Stella Got Her Groove Back. But her first novel at 36 was published by a large New York publisher, but they didn't do much with it. This was in 1987. And they sent out press releases, they sent out some review copies, but Terry was a first-time novelist, so media didn't care. Nothing much happened. The publisher did their normal low-level promotion for first-time authors. So Terry decided that she would take her promotion of the book into her own hands. And the thing she did, the thing that really is vitally important for all of you to hear, and I hope you'll actually take it to heart. She wrote 3,000 letters, actually more than 3,000 letters. She wrote them to bookstores, college stores, chain stores, African American groups, college professors, other groups, all asking them to either stock the book or promote her book. Now, this was before the internet. Now, if she were to do it in today's world, she probably would have asked bloggers and podcasters and done other things like that, social networking, doing videos on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. But what she did do was write 3,000 letters to the key audiences for her book. And what happened, she offered to do readings wherever they would give her space, and she'd be happy to give a talk. Would they share her book? All those sort of things that she would ask of them, depending on what audience she was addressing at the time. Again, 3,000 letters. What she did, the response was so great that she ended up doing a 39-city book tour. Her efforts gained her plenty of rave reviews for her book, as well as 2 reprintings in 6 weeks' time. That's a major success for a first-time novelist. Her publisher got behind her once they saw that the book was selling and it was worth reprinting again and again. The key point to this story is not who Terry, wrote and sent letters to, but how many she sent. It's a numbers game, and what happens with most authors, even though I've told them this story many times, is that they ignore that's a crucial piece of advice. Write a lot of emails, write a lot of letters. In today's world, I would have at one point told you to, send out emails to people and so on. But my experience in the last 6 months is that emails don't do the job. People aren't reading their emails anymore. They're, for a great amount of time, ignoring their emails. So I'm going back to what she did back in the day before the internet. Write letters. If not letters, write postcards. And make it something worthwhile. Write to at least 3,000 people. There was a time, even in the last few years, where I tell people this sort of strategy, but most people, they didn't want to do it. They were reluctant to do it. They got overwhelmed. Obviously, it takes time to write 3,000 letters. It takes a lot of time to write 100 letters. Now, most of the letters can be the same thing, or if you're writing a postcard, it's just a short little scribbled note on the postcard to your directed audience, asking them for something specific. Please, stock my book. You can get it from Ingram, something like that. You may ask for, I would love to do a book reading or a speaking appearance at your bookstore or your library or wherever, to a college class, anything like that. This can be a significant um, occurrence for you. Now, if you can't do 3,000, I shouldn't do it. You should write 3,000 letters. And that is going to be the most important thing you can do in marketing a book. Nothing else can replace that personal attention from you to people that could have an influence in the marketplace, who could potentially bring your book to the readers you want to reach. Again, bookstores, college professors, African American groups in Terry's case, other groups that you might want to reach out to depending on what kind of book you've written. Now, she did it for a novel. And I really do want to encourage you, every novelist, especially first-time or second-time novelist, to really be taking this to heart. Write letters. Write 3,000 of them. If you write 20 or 30 a day, it'll take you a year to write 3,000 letters. If you write, actually, it's probably, well, no, that's about right. If you write 30 letters a day, that's 100 days. And obviously, if you take some time off of good behavior, it would be about 4, maybe 5 months. If you wrote 50 letters a day, obviously, it would go much quicker. Maybe you could get your friends involved with this so that it's not just you writing letters, but maybe they could help you write some of the letters. And again, it doesn't have to be handwritten. If you did a postcard, it should be handwritten. And you send it out to a lot of people with a little personalized note to them, a bookstore, asking if you can appear or speak at the bookstore, pleading with them to stock your book, get it from Ingram, that kind of thing. But in today's world, you might be writing bloggers as well, bloggers who write about books like yours, review books like yours, interview authors like you. Podcasters, the same. Podcasters who might be very happy to interview a new first-time author or second-time author, or gosh, this is really a strategy that even applies to people who have published 10 or 20 books. When you're launching your new book, really think about it. Take it to heart. Do more promotions. Write to the people that you think could make a difference in your book. And, even if it's only 10 a day, it's going to take you a long time to write 3,000 letters. That is a year's worth of time. If you write every day 10 letters. But if you increase the speed of it, let's say that you're doing postcards, you're only handwriting 2 or 3 sentences with your request, making an ask of some sort. If you're doing it by letter, you can do basically a form letter, a letter that is basically the same for everyone, with a few words changed at the beginning, at the end, maybe the request you make. You print it out with your computer, you hand sign it with a personalized note. Hey, I just wanted you to hear about my new book, and I hope you will take a real interest in it. Whatever, make it personalized. So a handwritten note, even on those letters, would be worthwhile. But you can easily customize 20 or 30 letters a day if you take a half hour to an hour set aside to promote your book. It's a numbers game. It really does matter. If you start reaching out to more and more people, I know this is not an easy ask. I know that it's hard to write that many letters. I know it's hard to find that many addresses. I know it's not an easy thing at all, but it's the most important thing you could do to promote your book. Terry, with Mama, did not become a New York Times bestseller, but Waiting to Excel did. When Stella Got Her Groove Back did become bestsellers and movies. But she had to start somewhere. She was a first-time novelist. Mama. That was her book. That was the novel that she wrote. That is the one that she chose to promote right from the beginning. She was a 36-year-old first-time novelist. She was trying to reach out to people that could make a difference with her book. In her case, that was bookstores, colleges, African American groups, and other groups that she thought could help to promote a book. And again, in today's world, that list would also include podcasters, bloggers, people with websites that address an audience you want to reach out to. It might be people that do YouTube book reviews. There are a ton of them out there that do book reviews, not just for fiction, not just for nonfiction, but also children's books reviews. Social media influencers that might make a difference. Reach out to them. Write them a letter. And again, I would, if I could, try to get people's addresses and send out a letter, a physical letter that will have much bigger impact in today's world than emails. Because I can guarantee you people are ignoring emails in today's world. It used to be a gold mine for the last 10 years. For many of those years, email was the way to go. That was the preferred communication channel that a lot of book reviewers wanted. But in today's world, people are busy. They're starting to delete and erase emails when they don't know the person, when there isn't a great headline. And even if there is a great headline, they may delete it. They had a busy day. But it's hard to ignore a beautiful postcard or a handwritten, a letter that's hand addressed to that person. And they open up that letter and they see it's from a first-time novelist. That can make a big difference. So try it. Maybe you can't do all 3,000. Maybe it becomes overwhelming. So start with 300. 300 you can easily do in a month. And once you've done that, the next month, do another 300. And the next month, do another 300. And pretty soon, you'll have reached 3,000 people. It really is, again, a numbers game. It really does make a difference how many people you reach out to. It's not a simple thing of just, emailing somebody and going, oh, okay, they didn't respond and that's it. And I did it to 10 people, or I made phone calls to 10 people and I didn't get through, so I gave up trying to reach out. It doesn't work. You have to reach out. It's hard. Absolutely. It is very hard. But writing your book was also hard. Getting it published was also hard. Formatting it, editing it, getting cover design, working with a publisher, working with a publicist, etc. All of that is hard. Some people have spent 5 or 10 years writing a book, and then they don't want to spend a year promoting that book. Why not? Is the book important to you? If it's important to you, do the work. And I know, again, it is work. It's hard work. Now, I'm going to give you one little tip. It's a sort of selfish tip on my part, because If you want to reach 950 independent bookstores, I have a database of those, and I'll sell it to you for $50, really cheap. But it'll give you your first 950 stores to reach out to with addresses, phone numbers, emails, social media, people's names. It's a great list, and it's only $50. Now, I didn't do this video to sell that database. I did this video because I really want you to succeed. I want you to create an impact with your book, whether it's your first book, your second book, or your 10th book. It's a numbers game. You really have to reach out to people and knock on their doors. Terry did it with 3,000 letters. You can do it with 3,000 letters. And it's worth doing. It really is worth doing. It could make the difference between you having the opportunity to write a second book or a third book, or really get the notice that your book and you deserve. But you have to put the work in. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Well, maybe I am, but the thing is, you have to do the work. I'm not going to. I backed off with even people that I've consulted with, and I sort of gave up. I didn't push them hard enough. But I'm telling you now, if you've watched this video and you've listened to it, please take it to heart. Contact 3,000 people. Write 3,000 letters. It'll make a difference in your world. It'll make a difference for your book. It'll make a difference for you and your authority as an author. It could set you up as an expert. It could make a big difference. Oh, and besides, writing letters, as Terry did, to the bookstores and colleges and other groups, write letters to major newspapers, book review sections. You can get their free addresses on my website at bookmarketingbestsellers.com. That's free. There's about 50 newspapers there with their addresses, and you can just say, "Attention, book review editor." You can do the same with Google searches to find out what might be the key magazine editors you want to reach out to, TV producers you want to reach out to, radio producers you want to reach out to. There's over 1,000 live local radio shows every day in the United States. These radio shows are looking for people to interview, interesting people to interview. An author is almost inevitably an interesting person to interview. So you have bookstores, you possibly have colleges, you have groups you want to target, blogs, podcasts, radio shows, TV shows, magazines, newspapers. The world is open to you, but you have to knock on the door to get it answered. Write those 3,000 letters. Start today. Thank you.